In a world that rewards noise, speed, and constant movement, have you ever wondered what it would feel like to step away from the chaos, to pause, to breathe, to sit quietly with your thoughts, and listen not to the world around you, but to the deep, silent voice within? What if the answers you've been seeking all this time were already within you, hidden in the stillness? We've been taught that strength lies in action. We are urged to fight, to strive, to push forward relentlessly. The loudest voices, the fastest decisions, the busiest schedules, the glorified as signs of power. But real power, the power that can shift your life, is not found in the noise. It's found in the silence, in the moments when you stop, look inward, and simply be. Imagine a tree standing firm in the midst of a storm. The wind howls, the rain pours, yet the tree doesn't break. Why? Because it doesn't try to fight the storm. It simply stands. Its strength is in its stillness, in its ability to endure without reacting. We too can find strength in stillness. True power doesn't come from fighting. It comes from not being uprooted, that the world will push you to act, to react, to do more. But what if the true strength lies in pausing, in observing rather than reacting? It's time to go beyond the noise. It's time to reflect. Your true power is not in how quickly you respond to the world, but in your ability to simply observe without judgment, without haste down. What if the answer to the life you've always wanted, the peace you've been searching for, is already within you? What if it's not found in the things you do, but in the moments you allow yourself to be? The silence, the stillness, it's not empty. It's where your real self is waiting to be heard. As we embark on this journey, let go of the need to fill the silence with noise. Let go of the need to be constantly moving, constantly doing. The real power is hidden in your silence. The real mastery is in learning to be still. Now take a deep breath and allow yourself to be present in this moment. This is where your journey begins, not with doing, but with being. Have you ever felt that surge of emotion rise up within you? Anger, frustration, fear, and before you know it, you've reacted. You've said things you didn't mean. You've acted in ways that later feel out of alignment with your true self. It happens so quickly, doesn't it? One moment everything is calm, and the next, the storm inside is raging, pulling you in all directions. But what if I told you that in every emotional outburst, you lose a piece of your power? Emotional reactivity is a trap, one that is so subtle, we hardly notice when we've fallen into it. Every time we react impulsively, we give away our strength. Think about it. When you lash out in anger or frustration, what are you really doing? You're allowing the emotion to control you. Instead of being the master of your emotional state, you become its slave. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, spoke of something called the shadow, the unconscious part of us that we try to repress or ignore when we react emotionally. We're often expressing this shadow. It's the part of us that hasn't been integrated, the part that we haven't faced or accepted, and so it controls us. It's not just about anger or frustration. It's about what lies beneath fears, insecurities, unprocessed pain. These emotions are not random. They are the echoes of something deeper within us. That next time you feel that surge, that rush to react, pause for just a moment. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? What is it trying to tell me about myself? Instead of allowing it to dictate your actions, you have the power to step back, to observe, and to gain insight. It's not easy. It takes practice. But every time you resist the impulse to react, you take back control. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We are disturbed not by things, but by our opinions about them." What he was really saying is that our emotional responses are not dictated by the events around us, but by the way we perceive them. The world doesn't make us angry. Our interpretation of the world does. And so learning to control our perceptions, to shift our focus, to quiet our judgments, is the path to inner peace. Every time you stop yourself from reacting, you are reclaiming your strength. Every moment you choose to observe instead of react, you are mastering yourself. You are no longer at the mercy of your emotions. You are the one in control. And with that control comes a peace that cannot be disturbed. That we all crave control. It's a deep, almost primal urge to shape our surroundings, to mold our lives, to ensure that everything unfolds according to our will, in a world that feels unpredictable. Control gives us a sense of security, of safety. But here's the truth. You cannot force peace, no matter how hard you try. Peace will never be something you can control. It is something you must surrender to. We often think that if we can just arrange the pieces of our lives just so, control our circumstances, control our emotions, control the reactions of others, then peace will follow. But this is an illusion. True peace is not found in control. It's found in surrender. It's found in the acceptance of what is, rather than the constant battle against what we cannot change. The Stoic paradox of life is this: control what you can, accept what you can't. In other words, you have the power to control your response, but you cannot control the world around you. You cannot control the actions of others, the passage of time, or the unforeseen events that inevitably arrive in your life. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you begin to free yourself from the turmoil that arises from the need for control. That think about the way your body feels. When you're trying to force something, there's tension, discomfort, a kind of internal resistance. Your mind pushes, your body contracts. It's as though you're fighting against the natural flow of life. When you try to control the uncontrollable, your body becomes a warning sign, an alarm that you're out of alignment. Peace cannot coexist with resistance. When you force things, you only create more tension, more frustration, more pain. That when anxiety creeps in, when the pressure to control everything becomes overwhelming, the Stoic method of 3, 2, 1 can help. Breathe deeply, 3 slow, conscious breaths. Repeat 2 affirmations that center you, like I trust the process of life, or I can only control my response. Finally, remind yourself of the truth. I cannot control everything. I only control my actions, my reactions, my choices. By practicing this simple method, you reconnect with the present moment and release the need to control outcomes. That peace is not something you can force. It is cultivated through awareness, acceptance, and surrender. When you let go of the illusion of control, you make room for peace to naturally unfold. When you stop fighting, you allow life to flow freely, and in that flow, you find the calm you've been searching for all along. In the rush of daily life, in the constant noise of our thoughts, our emotions, and the world around us, we often lose touch with ourselves. We think we need more information, more stimulation, more distraction. But what if the key to emotional clarity isn't more at all? What if the key is less? What if the key is silence? Silence is not an absence. It is a presence. In the quiet moments when the mind is still, you hear your true self. You hear the voice that speaks not from fear, but from wisdom. In those moments of silence, your emotions, once chaotic and overwhelming, begin to settle. The constant chatter of your mind fades away, and you can see clearly with a calm and centered perspective. The neuroscience behind this is profound. Studies have shown that silence has a calming effect on the brain. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the nervous system responsible for relaxation and healing. Silence gives your body the rest it needs to recalibrate, to regain balance. It is in silence that your nervous system can shift from fight or flight mode to a state of peace. Think of silence as a form of healing. Just as a broken bone requires rest to heal, your emotions need silence to process and rebalance. When you're constantly overwhelmed, constantly reacting, your emotional wounds cannot heal. They simply get buried under more noise, more distractions, but in the silence. You create the space for those wounds to heal. You allow your emotions to settle, to find their natural rhythm once more. A simple practice of silence, even for just 5 minutes a day, can be incredibly powerful. Sit quietly, free of distractions, and breathe deeply. Let your thoughts come and go, but don't attach to them, just observe. As you do this, you'll find your focus sharpening, your emotions becoming clearer, your mind becoming calmer. It is in these moments of silence that you regain emotional clarity. Silence is not just the absence of sound. It is the presence of peace. It is in the stillness that you hear your truth, that you find the clarity you seek, and in that clarity, you reconnect with the deepest part of yourself. Silence is not an escape from your emotions, but a pathway to understanding them. When you make space for silence, you make space for your true self to emerge. In the quiet moments of reflection, have you ever wondered why it's so hard to let go? Why, despite everything telling you that you should, you find yourself clinging to people, to past hurts, to ideals that no longer serve you? It's as though part of you is trapped in a state of emotional dependency, unable to free itself. But this attachment, this clinging to external sources of validation or happiness, is one of the greatest blocks to your inner power. Attachment, in its many forms, creates an illusion. It tells you that your happiness lies outside of yourself, that it depends on the people around you, on the things you own, on the life you've built. But in truth, every attachment you hold on to weakens you. It takes away your freedom, your autonomy. You begin to depend on others to define your worth, to feel validated, and in doing so, you give away your power. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that our suffering comes not from the things themselves, but from our attachment to them. It's our attachment to people, things, and even ideas that disturbs us. The more we cling, the more we lose ourselves in the process. True freedom, he said, comes from letting go of this attachment, from realizing that nothing external can ever truly define you. The Buddhists spoke of this as well, teaching that attachment is the root of suffering. We hold on to what we love. We fear the loss of what we cherish. And in doing so, we create an emotional prison for ourselves. To be free to truly experience peace, you must let go of the idea that your happiness depends on external sources. Detachment does not mean indifference or lack of love. In fact, it is the ability to love more fully, to give without expecting anything in return, to experience life without clinging to outcomes. Detachment is a form of emotional sovereignty. It is the power to move through life without being weighed down by the need for control or validation. The process of letting go starts within. Reflect on what you're holding on to, whether it's a relationship, a past wound, an expectation, and begin to release it with every breath. Let go of the need for that attachment. To define your peace. As you do, you reclaim your emotional sovereignty. You free yourself from the chains that have held you in place, and you step into the fullness of who you are, independent of the world around you. Every time you release, you gain more power. Every time you stop clinging, you step closer to true freedom. And with that freedom comes peace. There's a strength in walking away that is often misunderstood. In a world that glorifies confrontation, standing your ground and fighting for what's yours. The idea of simply walking away can seem like an act of weakness, but true power lies in knowing when to step back, to disengage, and to leave the battlefield behind. Walking away is not about surrendering. It's about sovereignty. It's about choosing not to engage with situations that drain you, that challenge your peace, or that demand a response you're not willing to give. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is the one you make in silence, the one where you choose not to react, not to fight, but simply to walk away. Imagine a warrior who, in the midst of a battle, lays down his sword to the outside world. It might look like weakness, But the true power lies in the decision itself. The warrior knows that not every battle is worth fighting. The warrior understands that sometimes the greatest strength is in knowing when to leave, to preserve his energy, and to walk away with dignity intact. In the same way, we are faced with countless battles in our lives, whether they are arguments, toxic relationships, or moments of disrespect. The question is not whether you can win, but whether you should fight it all. Walking away doesn't make you a coward. It makes you wise. It shows that you value your peace more than the need to prove something, more than the need to defend your ego. It is an act of self-respect. When you walk away from disrespect, from negativity, from situations that no longer serve you, you are choosing to preserve your emotional sovereignty. When disrespected, take a moment. Resist the urge to explain, to justify, to defend yourself instead. Breathe deeply and walk away. Your silence will carry more weight than any words. You could say, it's not about running away. It's about choosing not to engage in something that will only diminish your power. By walking away, you are choosing the path of strength, of control, and of emotional freedom. In the quiet act of walking away, you demonstrate a profound form of self-mastery. You are in control, not of the situation, but of yourself, and that, in the end, is the greatest power you can have. The journey we've just explored is not one of quick fixes or surface-level solutions. It is a deep, transformative journey into the heart of who you truly are. As you reclaim your power, as you learn to master your emotions, to silence the noise, and to detach from the illusions that bind you, you begin to touch something profound within yourself. A strength that cannot be shaken, a peace that cannot be disturbed. The real power, the one that changes lives, is not the power you exert over others or over circumstances. It is the power that lies within you, in the quiet moments, in the stillness of your soul. This power is not dependent on the outside world. It is not tied to the approval of others, to your possessions, or to your successes. It is found when you realize that you are enough, exactly as you are, and that nothing outside of you can define your worth. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Your inner world is the foundation of your peace. The quality of your thoughts shapes the reality you experience. When you let go of the need for control, when you release your attachments, and when you stop reacting to every emotional trigger, you are free to live according to your true nature, free to choose your responses, and free to find peace in the present moment. That this is your path to emotional rebirth. The more you release the chains of reactivity, attachment, and control, the more you reconnect with the person you were always meant to be. The more you let go, the more you step into your power. The more you embrace silence, the more you open yourself to clarity and wisdom. You are not a victim of life circumstances. You are the master of your response. And it is in this mastery that true freedom lies. Embrace the silence, detach from the chaos, and let your inner power guide you. Each step inward is a step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. The freedom you seek is already within you. It's time to reclaim it, to live it, and to experience the peace that comes with knowing that you are the one who holds the keys to your emotional world.